Wake up, black people. This is not a song. This is a warning. This is for every black mother who buried a child. Every black child who never got the chance to become great. Every elder who remembers when the community stood together. And above all, this is dedicated to the black woman. The first teacher, the first nurturer, the first protector, the foundation of the family. Without a sacrifice, without a strength, without a love, yeah, many of us wouldn't be here today. Wake up, black people. Wake up, black people. Wake up, black people, look around and see the war ain't overseas, it's right in our streets. Young kings killing kings before they 23. Then another mother crying on the evening news feed. Another little baby growing up without a dad. Another young sister carrying trauma from the past. Another grandmother praying while she holding back tears, watching violence multiply year after year. We scream for justice when the world does us wrong, but how we gonna rise if we destroy our own? Every funeral, another dream laid to rest. Every casket, another wound in the community's chest. The ancestors didn't survive for us to die like this. Didn't fight through oppression for us to live like this. Somewhere we lost the code, somewhere we lost the way. And if we don't change now, what future can we save? Wake up, black people. The babies need us now. Wake up, black people. The mothers need us now. Protect our women, protect our children, protect our elders. Let's rebuild our village. Wake up, black people. Yeah. Oh, wake up, black people.
That is the call, man, the call to order. We got to be on call. Wake up, black people. Hey, man, this is Under the Groove Podcast. Here I am, and there you are. It's always an honor to be here, man. Got a little something for everybody, man. I just had this on my mind. I'm going to get right to it. The young brother, man, that just got unalived, as they say, social media, for wearing the H hat, right? Not even game banging. Young athlete, man, promising at that, Damn, it's come to that. It's come to that. It's so bad when cats don't even, I heard one of the brothers saying, Crazo from Raymond was saying, hey, man, you dudes is getting out of hand with this stuff. I mean, you're going to be in this shit and that's what you about. You're going to be about it, man. Get your man. Get your man. Stop killing mothers, man. Fathers, sons and daughters, who ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Get your man, just looking at that piece today, man, that's some sad shit, man. I have to admit that, man. That young brother lost his life just for wearing a Houston Astros hat, an H hat. So somebody said, oh, there go one right there, And that was the end of that. Some sad shit. I got that clip. Coldest part about it, man, you got people commenting on this shit from all over the country, man. Not just black people either. And they land, they landed on thick. They got a lot to say about this shit, which they should. I don't blame them. I don't knock them. Let me bring this clip in here, man, so y'all can see what I'm talking about, man. Sad shit, bro. Sad shit. All right, hold on. Get a bar of this.
Yeah, I'm going to say it like this, and everybody's going to be mad about it, but so what? It's tired of being nice to these fools. So you gang members from LA, bro, look weak right now. Y'all look really pathetic.
Man.
Because this victim right here was a rising football star as well. Wasn't a gang member. Had no gang affiliation whatsoever. but wore a Houston Astros hat and got gunned down by rival enemies that weren't even his enemies.
In Compton. In Compton.
Because gang members in LA will kill you over a hat, will kill you over a jersey, will kill you for a baseball team, a football team, a logo. Everybody in LA wants to act like they 4 extra and kill innocent kids.
Yeah, another fool.
Should have been an NFL player in his future, should have graduated high school, should have been married and had kids and did something right with his life. But he doesn't get that chance to because LA, and I'm talking to the people from LA who ain't even gang members, but are all over this story online basically saying, well, LA got rules. He should have known. There's certain hats you shouldn't wear. No, people from LA shouldn't be allowing this to happen.
Make you wonder, man, if that was their son or their brother, their uncle, you know, would they be saying that? You know what I mean? I know if it was me, I wouldn't be saying that. I'd be upset as fuck. I wouldn't be saying, man, I want my son, man, my nephew, or my brother shouldn't have been where he knew better. No, fuck that, man. You know? There are a lot of people who wear this NBL, NFL, you know what I mean, NBA attire, man, and they aren't game banging. They aren't game banging. The dudes are so scary nowadays, man. You know, I don't know, man. It's as though they just want to see if they can get one. If they can get them one body. Don't even matter no more. Not that it should in the beginning, you know. Again, I'm one of the first to say, man, that shit was cool. Damn, we fucked up. I fucked up. You know. That's some sad shit, man.
Gang units in LA shouldn't be allowing gang members to walk around freely killing innocent kids for wearing a hat. They should get up off their ass and start doing some raids, start doing some injunctions, start getting funds by the governor with his old greedy fraud committing ass. And
that ain't gonna happen because look, man, the only thing you gonna see them do, if you pimping and pandering, they gonna come after you. You know what I mean? Now that's not to say that they not coming after the so-called gang banger. They're coming. They're coming, man. You know, the clock is ticking. They're coming, man. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe they're gonna come in such a way when they come to get you, they're gonna make sure they get you. He ain't going nowhere for a very, 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 very long time. You know. Now, my thing is this: I don't advocate that our brothers and sisters be locked up because they're misguided, because they on some shit and they don't really get, man. Understand? You know what I mean? It's bad enough that they in it. I'd say, hey, man, if we can, man, we need to, they're not expendable. We need to save them. You know, I don't advocate, man, that, you know, just locking brothers up and throwing away the keys. You know what I mean? I just don't, you know. But the fact of the matter is, there are people who do that. Their whole life is based upon that. You know, to get you, lock you up. If they ain't able to kill you, it is to get you and lock you up, throw away the key. And that shit's coming. You brothers think y'all doing something, man. You really hurting yourselves, man. You're hurting the whole community, man. And it's some sad shit. And I just ask you, reflect, man, if that was your little brother, your big brother, your son. Just say, man, I want to wear this hat today. I'm gonna walk through Compton with this hat today. You know? And then that's also a shock. I'm not saying Compton had anything to do with anything. I don't get down like that. But the fact that it happened in Compton, okay, I'm like, damn, what's going on? What's really happening? It's crazy work, man.
Preventing crime like this from happening. Because a young football player should be living today, should be getting drafted in a few years, should be going to the NFL. But all these fools said, man, in LA, there's rules, bro. You don't get to wear these kind of hats. No, it's gang members ain't doing their job. Gang members ain't recognizing who their enemies are and who their enemies aren't. They ain't out there looking. They ain't out there patrolling. They ain't trying to catch nobody lacking. They're just pulling triggers and killing innocent people now as well. So instead of all you people from Los Angeles talking about, well, that's how LA really is, maybe do something to change it. Shouldn't be somebody like me that's on social media trying to change it. Do something about it. Stop living underneath the rock. Stop living like cowards in fear of a bunch of cowards who would just shoot anybody, take a life for no reason, take a life over a baseball hat, a logo. How shit like this is going to continuously happen, and we got to bury more of the next generation. Yeah, I'm going to.
Man, think about that, man. That's some sad shit, man. You have to admit it. I imagine some would say if that was an actual gang member, oh well, he knew what it was, you know. Even then, it's kind of harsh, you know. But man, for somebody that's not even in the life, man, in that culture, to have to lose their life because they had nothing to do with it. They had nothing to do with it, man. That's some sad shit. I'm just shocked, man. Just, you know, that few days I've been like, what the hell? Well, today for sure. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. You know, the intro is very, very pronounced right now. Wake up, black people. Because I'm telling y'all, we don't wake up, man. We about to, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Man, here's another one I want to hit y'all with, man. You know, I'm on that vein. You know, I'm gonna go down this, you know, this line right here. And let's see if you catch it.
We ain't gonna kill nobody but each other. That's what the white man said. Black people ain't gonna fight nobody but each other. And then these Negroes, afraid to even be with me, scared to goddamn death to be with me. And if you're with me, you buck dancing all the damn time. Everything you have heard that the white man said against me or charged me with, you got your fat behind out there buck dancing. I'm here. Ours is here. But I'm not against whites. I'm here. But I ain't against gays. I'm here. But I ain't against Jews. I'm here. I ain't against nobody.
But black folk.
That's pitiful in the year 2000. That's absolutely pitiful. It's pitiful. What about freedom and independence? Have you considered freedom and independence? Have you considered a nation of your own? You say that's hard. The white man is not going to just give us a nation. He ain't going to give you no justice either. Volpe going to prison is not justice. The devils who killed James Byrd in Jasper, Texas, that's not justice. Justice is an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth and a limb for a limb and a life for a life. That's justice.
All right.
Black people ain't.
You heard it there. Here. Yeah, man, just to ourselves. You know, just to ourselves. You know, it's like we're more scared of any and everybody else. But we ain't got no problems about handling one another. And while we doing all this stupid shit, look what they doing. Check this one out. I said this a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month ago, when all these lynchings started. I say, man, them people behind this, it's the police doing this shit. Because they're really the only ones who can actually get away with it scot-free almost. Everybody else would have a hard time. I'm pretty sure if they run back like flock cameras from stores and shit in either direction, you know, and they find a time frame of a deceased person, they can get these cars, and I bet you there's a police car going by around that window, that time. You know what I mean? I've always said this, man. You know, I've always said it. You know, they are the Klan, pretty much. But this some new shit. This some shit just happened. Check it out.
Beating and robbing a man and woman in South Phoenix are indeed Phoenix police officers who are now the focus of a criminal investigation.
Clearly, we have a lot of questions, but the Phoenix police chief turned down our request for an interview today. Michaela Marshall's here. These are pretty damning allegations, Michaela. Well, after hearing
Now, what your first thought is why they ain't in jail? You know, because any person get accused of something, and there's somebody say, "Hey, man, this person did this or that to me." That's an immediate detainment and arrest. Now you have two credible people saying these two police officers beat us, tased us, carjacked us, and kidnapped us, and yet they're just under investigation. Crazy.
The violent details, Tempe police believed this was an attempted carjacking by two men impersonating officers. But I confirmed today the suspects were sworn police officers. What's not clear is if they were on duty that night for official police business or out on their own. Nope.
You know, what's funny is there's no pictures of these guys nor the names or the department. You know, they'd show you Phoenix Police Headquarters, but what department did they work from? Why the chief ain't got nothing to say? Crazy.
Body camera footage and no report of an off-the-books traffic stop involving two Phoenix police officers now under criminal investigation. This stems from a violent incident on August 5th, around 11:30 at night. A couple claims they were forcefully removed from their car, tased, punched, and threatened at gunpoint by two police officers. Even though this happened in Phoenix near 19th Avenue and Broadway Road, all of this information is coming from a Tempe police report. That's because an investigation was opened after the victim's car was found disabled close to Priest Drive and Baseline Road. The car's owner told police her son was driving it that night. And while on the phone with an officer, her son's girlfriend arrived at the apartment and sounded scared. The girlfriend reported while her boyfriend was driving, they were pulled over by what looked like an older model police SUV with red and blue lights. The girlfriend says she was held in an armbar, handcuffed, tased, pushed to the ground, and put in the back of the cop car. The police report says the officers also beat up and tased the boyfriend, pulled out some of his hair, and threatened to shoot him. But he was able to get back in his car and drive away. The two officers then let the girlfriend go, and she walked about an hour home. Tempe police initially believed the men in the police vehicle were impersonating law enforcement and that their actions amounted to criminal conduct, including robbery, assault, and kidnapping. And according to the victims, the officers never explained what prompted the traffic stop. The victims in this case felt like suspects and were afraid at first to report the encounter because they didn't want to talk to police or get arrested for fleeing the scene. Phoenix police say the two officers are on administrative leave and the subjects of a criminal investigation.
Oh, this
is just a wild story. So how are those victims doing tonight?
Well, I did speak with the family of one of the victims today, and I was told the couple is in their early 20s and they're shaken up but physically healed at this point. So we'll see if they'd like to share their experience in the coming days or weeks. But right now they tell me they're just still too scared.
Well, police can.
Yeah, and that's another thing, man. I have to say this, man. Our people are scared of the police, but we ain't scared of each other. You know, police can get away with murder, man. I think that's what puts the fear of the police in a lot of us, man. I think that's messed up, man, that we ain't got no heart, you know, that we not mad enough to say, man, fuck you, and fuck you. This is what you did. I'm going to bring it on. You know, they wouldn't do that, but they would rather say, cower behind the door and say, oh, you know, I'm stressed. I can't, you know, I'm scared. Man, fuck all that, man. Again, man, the shit we see, man, every day, man, we see our people going at each other, man, with no fear. No remorse, man. No, we ain't worried about a damn thing when we doing something to one another. But when something is done to one of us by somebody else, man, I'm telling you, man, for the most part, a lot of y'all will accept that shit. You'll take that abuse, be it verbal, physical, you know, mental, you know, you'll take that shit. But let somebody your color look just like you, talk to you, verbalize you, verbally abuse you, physically abuse you, financially, all kind of abuses, you know what I mean? And y'all are ready to end, just end individuals immediately. Like, hey man, I got 36 for you. But when somebody else of another ethnicity, civil servant, does something to any one of y'all, man, y'all cower, y'all fold. Got a whole lot of them just like that, man. I'm telling you, these same brothers in the streets, man, they're shooting each other down, man. They let the police get them and slap them up, man, talk to them any old kind of way, treat them like punks. Treat them like punk, talk to them, man, the same way that they call a op, or that individual they call out would talk to them, and they don't do nothing. They don't talk back. They shut the F up. You know what I mean? Come on. That's some coward work right there, man. Most of these cats are cowards. They keep it real. A lot of us were. Let's keep it real. On scared time. You know what I mean? Straight up. Sad shit, man. And we don't realize these people are after us, man. We got enough on our plate, man. But it's like we don't see what others are piling on our plate. We only see what we're putting on each other's plates. And it's enough to anger all of us, to the point where we just want to do away with everybody look like us. It's crazy work, man. That's crazy work. And I don't understand it, bro. I for the life of me, I don't get it. Especially now, Shit, I barely got it back then, but I I think the only good thing, man, in terms of what can be different, how change could come about, is that we have individuals today who are stepping up and standing out, speaking up and speaking out. We didn't have that, man, back, I can't speak for the 20s. I was gone. You know what I mean? I can't speak for, if the early 90s. I can't. But what I can speak to is I recall when individuals, were able to talk to us, regardless of what people say. I mean, could nobody talk to us? Yeah, they could. Yeah, they could. And we had individuals that were able to talk to us and tell us some real spit, That's the difference, though. Where the difference now is that there are more of us doing that or willing to do that than there were back then, And it's shocking that a lot of the individuals who are willing to step up, speak out to this bullshit are not being taken serious or not even being supported. You know what I mean? And I mean taken serious by the younger ones as well as the old, not being supported by the old, those in their, their age group, their peer group. Ain't no support, man. The fact of the matter is a lot of these old cats are still with the BS. They've been these cats years, man. They with the dirty shit, man. You know what I mean? And that's some foul shit. I ain't gonna get into all the bullshit that I'm pretty aware of, but that's bullshit, man. That's bullshit, man. And it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that, man. I got one more, man. I'm gonna drop this one more, man. Because like I say, man, it's shit going on, man. And I'm telling you, we so fucking oblivious to shit that's happening, man. That it's scary, man. It's scary work. And for those of us who who claim to be ready for whatever, that fight ain't gonna last long, man. And we the only ones that's calling ourselves prepared and ready. Got a few of these and a few of them, man. You know what I mean? Couple thousand, casings and shit. You know what I mean? That ain't gonna do nothing. If we're not going into this situation together as a unit, as a whole, I don't care what, man. That shit ain't gonna. That shit gonna be over quick, man. That shit will be over fairly quick. And the results of that shit, man, you'll see it quick, because those of us who say we're prepared, we're going to realize, okay, now we got to survive. We got to go into hiding because we ain't got it like that. Again, we the only ones ain't prepared, man, like we should be. And you can't tell brothers that we are, you can't tell brothers that we are not ready. They'll tell you in a minute, crazy. ready, man. I got 20 of them things, man, and I got 10,000 rounds. That ain't shit. Half them ain't gonna hit nothing. You know, the other half ain't gonna heal nothing if it hit them. We're not ready, man, and that's so scary, bro. Scary shit, y'all. We in them times, man, where I'm telling you, for everything that's going on, man, there's a reason for it. So we're in them times, man, where distractions are placed again. They're placed in front of us, man, to keep us off balance. There's no other way to put that. That's a fact. This was happening in Indiana. This is what's happening in Indiana. Check this out.
These blackouts might be an experiment, bro. Test dummy type stuff.
So y'all know about the weather storms or the storms, the serious storms they had, you know, down south and in Indiana, right? A lot of devastation and shit. I don't know if y'all keeping up with that shit. You should. But check this out.
Survival of the fittest. Who's the weakest link? It's going on the 12th day. These blackouts might be an experiment, bro. Test dummy type stuff. Survival of the fittest. Who's the weakest link? It's going on the 12th day, and people are still without power in Gary. And now I'm hearing Kentucky. It's people hopping in my comments saying, yo, it's not just Gary, Indiana. We over here in Kentucky in the trenches with no power too. That hasn't got no broadcasting, y'all. This might be a test, bruh. Some psychological, twisted, weird stuff going on. Who can survive? They're trying to test it out and see which communities is surviving, which communities is thugging it out on their own, getting the resources they need on their own. Because mind you, they haven't brought out, the city ain't been doing really too much with bringing out resources. They keep promising these people specific dates of when the power and electricity gonna be back on, and they don't hear nothing. They said that utility truck that allegedly got pew-pewed up, it was an inside job, an excuse for them to neglect the trenches. Allegedly, the trenches is the ones that's getting hit the hardest. Trees still on people's house. It took for people to hop on social media and press the issue to get people and contractors to come out and donate their services to get trees up off family members' houses, their own houses. Some people straight up packed up all their clothes and left, moved out the house, and went and moved into a different spot. And some people saying that was the plan the whole time, getting people to get out so that they can build up these inner, lower income cities and re-gentrify it. Y'all, it is seeming like a little test dummy type situation. I ain't gonna hold you. Like they're trying to see who really finna get it out the mud with it. Are these people capable of doing it themselves, or do they need us? This whole situation is crazy work. I'm seeing single moms hop online talking about they have children. Some children are with disabilities that they taken care of in the dark, bro. 2 weeks is crazy work to not hear anything back from power or electricity. Water, they said water is being contaminated. I'm not sure about that, y'all. This is all allegedly and for entertainment purposes only, okay? But go look it up. Go do your research, because people are now talking about it. They are still suppressing, but people are now putting a good foot to the pavement, y'all. This is crazy work. Do y'all think this is a test? Like trying to see who the survival of the fittest is? I don't know, bro. This is crazy. I'm sending love and light to everybody in the Midwest. I'm sending special love to people in Kentucky that's not being heard, that's not even being noticed. People don't even know about the people in Kentucky that's going through it.
All right. Now, let's just say some catastrophic shit has occurred. It will occur again. How prepared are we? We were asking this question last month, man. Are we prepared, man, for whatever? Chances are we're not. Ain't none of us ready. And again, man, I can't lift myself up and y'all still down there. How's that a win? You know, and this is the mentality a lot of us have, you know, especially a lot of our people, our entertainers, our politicians, are athletes. Like, hey man, I'm good. Y'all on your own. I got the money. I can buy me an underground shelter. I can go hang out with, you know, the pedos if I want to, you know. They're not really looking at shit right either. You know what I mean? And I say that to say this, man, we all messed up, man. We're not thinking as we should, man. And there's a reason for that. But at any time, man, we get to the point where we are just indiscriminately, young and old, I don't care who it is, man, assassinating one another, man, just because it's all bad. It's all bad, and or that is an indication that we got fucking work to do. We got to stop talking about some shit and be on some shit. I mentioned, in a way last night, some shit that's coming down the pipes. That shit cannot come quick enough, man. You know, we got to figure some shit out, man, because if we don't, man, ain't no telling who'll get pew, pew, pew next. Could be your mama. All because she wanted to wear an orange bonnet or a red bonnet or a blue bonnet. No telling. The shit that serious, man. And these mugs is going to let us do the damage to each other as much as they can without, an uproar. You know what I mean? As long as they, somebody say, oh, y'all looking bad, y'all not doing y'all job, they ain't going to do it. And you got to know, man, they know who's who. That's the coldest part. They know, man. I don't think they don't, man. But again, man, we're talking about our young brothers, man, and our sisters being lined up, man. They letting them pile shit up on themselves, man. Then come get them in. You never see them again. Not on these streets. That's a waste. That's a greater waste. That's a waste just as great as one of y'all or one of us taking life for another one of us. You know what I mean? It's a waste. It's a waste, man. And we got to get on top of this shit, man, because this shit is getting outrageous. And we got people laying in the cut in the shadows just licking their chops. They cannot wait. And again, we can talk all the shit we want to talk about, how prepared we are, about how many acres we got and how we got that. And we doing this and we got guns. And look, man, that shit ain't going to matter if we're not unified. If we are not unified, if we do not have a strategy or we are orchestrating a plan that would give us not a chance but the opportunity for survival beyond whatever they might want to throw at us, man, then we're doomed. And I don't say that, I'm not saying that lightly, man. For real, man, this shit is that damn bad. We're killing off each other, man, while they're waiting in the cut to finish us off. It's bad business, man. That's bad business, man. And you can't tell me these cats don't know that. You can't tell me that they have not experienced what everyone calls racism and discrimination. Yeah, they have, man. I'm pretty sure of it. And if they have, man, in this day and age, what the hell is stopping them from acting on that or towards that, responding to that, rather than what we see taking place with these brothers, between each other? This is some crazy shit, man. You got to admit that. That's how bad this shit is, man. B60, what it do, man? So greetings and salutations to you, bub, and the RGC. B1 equals black first, everybody. Black first. I'm just so ready, man. Like, hey, I don't know. Come with me. Cause this shit, we got to, man, be at that point. We're gonna say enough is a fucking enough. And ain't nobody bigger than the program. For real, for real. For real, for real. We got to get our shit together, man, because I'm telling y'all, if you don't, Mugs is going to start taking us down. Well, they're already doing it. They're taking us down, picking us off one by one, and ones add up. That shit add up. Them twos and fews, they add up. Trust that. Anyway, B60M, good to see you up in here, man. Sam Evans say, man, intro song is dope. Yeah, that's the one, man. Wake up, black people. The loved one hooked that up for me, man. I appreciate him for that, man. I don't tell him enough, but I'm gonna give him a call tomorrow, just see how he doing, man. You know, just see how he doing, man. You know, conscious mind, everybody. Yeah, that's bro, man. Yeah, nice intro song, man. I hope it, I would like for it to actually, man, just resonate, man. Just get out there, man, so people can hear it. I ain't making nothing on it. That's the homeboy. He did that for me. I ain't trying to charge, just let it get out there. People, I think it's fire like that, And the more of us who hear it, I think, man, there's that that possibility that somebody will get something from it and it can redirect them. It can do some, positive for them. So yeah, shout out to the loved one again, man, for hooking me up on that. Good to see you back up in here, Sam. Henry Sadella, what it do, man? He said, peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. Salute, Brother Bub. Hope everyone is having a good day. Everything is everything, man. We got to find some peace and prosperity, man, some unity, some love, to make it everything, man, that we would like for, we need it to be, Until we get there, man, let's make the best of what we got. All right. We ain't gonna complain, we ain't gonna cry. We're gonna make the best of what we got, man. Stay resilient. Appreciate you up in here, Henry. Queen and Zinga say, hey, man, happy hump day. We made it to Wednesday. Take a breath. Give yourself credit for how far you've come this week. 3 days into it. All right. And again, Grand Rising, man. There you are, There you are. There you are. It's an honor to be here, and we should look at it like that. Take advantage of it. All right. Ali Free, West LA Coco. You say, man, if you banging, you should have cat. Yeah. I get what you're saying, just the wording. If you banging, you should have you should have cat where he from before you shot him. Yeah. Find out what it is. Get your man, I'm not advocating that, but I'm just saying, man, this is how you spare the innocent. But see, you dudes so far gone with this shit. I think a lot of y'all just look at it like anybody, it don't matter. If I can get anybody, that's all that matters. And I tell you what, man, and this is how this plays out. This ain't no lie. In this day and age, if anybody with him, man, and they would have, one of them gonna tell. One of them's gonna tell. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying they got caught or anything. I don't know that. But one of them's gonna tell. That's the way that shit works. And again, they got them cameras everywhere now. A lot of you brothers don't really pay attention. You think, okay, man, we can run back to the guard and, drive 3 blocks away, a mile away, and we good, we clean. No, man. Fucking cameras there follow you, man, shit 100 miles. They'll follow you out the city, man. That's why they got them set up. They want to know what everybody's doing. But somebody's going to tell on somebody, man. And so that's not something you got away with, man. And then, finding out, I'm sure you know by now, that wasn't even a game banger. You shouldn't be proud of yourself, man. Even if it was one, you shouldn't be proud of yourself, man. It's such a waste, man. It's such a waste. Anyway, again, man, West LA Coco said, if you banging, you should have get where he from before you shot him. Not just busting on colors and hats. Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't even do it, period, man. I mean, again, Khalid Muhammad say, man, we just do this to each other. This is something we do to each other. We ain't willing to go do that to nobody else. Knowing what we know about everybody else and how they feel, how they see us, what they think about us, what they'll do to us. We ain't doing that, though. Am I advocating that? But we ain't doing that. You know what I mean? Shit. Henry Sadella said, man, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. I'm sure you appreciate that clip, man. I do too, bro. I do too, Henry. Good to see you up in here today, my brother. James Cash, he said, what's up, bub, man? Peace, prosperity, man. Love and unity, homie. Love and respect, first and foremost. What's up with you, man? What's up with you? May everything be everything, man, over in that direction, that area in the CPT, man, for the Bomptons and the Comptons, man. We got to figure this shit out, man. And I asked myself, damn, what the hell going on in Compton? Is that how they getting down in Compton now? I don't, but we don't know. Let's do it like that. Instead of, just going out on a limb and say, man, some of our young brothers did that. We don't know who did that. Let's be honest. So I'm gonna reserve my opinion on that, but I still want to speak to our young brothers and sisters who are in that lifestyle, that culture. Hey man, it ain't worth it, man. Anytime you see one of you that look like you, man, hey, well, give them that pass, man. Because that's gonna be the same. That could very well be the same brother and or sister who save your ass one day. Get you a pass. Think about it, man. I ain't got a lot of passes in my time. And gave quite a few. I gave just as many as I got. I ain't get a lot. I got a lot, but I ain't get a lot. Shit, a few times I went. I'm fighting for my life. Wish I could have got a pass. Just wasn't in the cards that day. But yeah, man, y'all need to think about that shit, man. And again, I'm removing whatever that issue is over there with that young brother, man, because we don't know who did that. Like we don't know who hanging our brothers and sisters in Mississippi. Yeah, we know, but and speaking of such, another brother today in Greenville, body burnt up, man, wrapped up in a tarp, just thrown on the side of the road, man. And this what we own. James said, man, I'm in here listening, man. I'm tapped in. Appreciate you, bro. You're going to say, man, we're against whoever against us. Black is my program. And we got to get more brothers on that program, though. I think that's the mission. That's the mission. See, we need 10 more like you, James. Think like you think. Put that out there. Hey, man, black first. We need 10 more like you. Fat Rat, what it do, loved one? Peace to you and RGC, Big Bub. Give us an outline of what being ready looks like. No trouble, just an opinion. I think first and foremost, man, when we're talking about what being ready is what it looks like, I think that starts, again, we talked about this last night. The individual first has to know who he or she is. And not only that, but everybody around that individual, those individuals have to know this shit, man. I think that's the basis of being ready, because now we got an understanding of who the hell we are and what this thing is really all about. That goes a long way. That sets up everything else, man, that should fall into place. When you got that, then, you got the individual who's got himself or herself together. Now you have a household that has itself together. And from that household, what's spreading out from it, touching other households, family members, immediate family as well extended. Now you're building what we call a community and everybody's on the same page. And so much so, if we're prepared, we got our shit together, man, ain't no dissension in there, man. We understand what that brings. There's nothing but love, respect, and unity. There's a mission, there's a purpose that serves everybody, man. To me, that's what being ready is. That's the foundation of it, if you ask me. From that comes so much more. These individuals begin to think about preparedness. These individuals know, wait a minute, as an independent, as a man who thinks, as a woman who thinks, I know what I need. What now, we're thinking as a unit, what we need to do. How do we prepare for the inevitable or the unexpected? They start laying shit, in motion. They have plans in place. They have strategies. They have structure. They have discipline. And it ain't just about having them, but they got them too. You know what I mean? They know how to prepare for the long haul as well as the short haul. They know how to feed themselves, take care of themselves, they educate themselves, they exalt themselves, and from that, again, I'm telling you, it spreads. This family, these people, these individuals become this unit. This unit, man, it spreads. It becomes augmented. It gets larger. It gets larger. The larger it get, man, when they're bringing in people who are like-minded, who know who the hell they are, maybe even have a great understanding of what their purpose is. And it ain't always, see, when we know who we are, we come to, I think, once we learn who we are, we come to realize that it ain't even about us, the individual. It's really not, So we're going to lay down preparation. We're going to say, hey, man, this is understanding I got. I want to share this with you, man, because I'm pretty sure this could be helpful. And I'm imparting this in such a way where you're going to take it over there. Before you know, you got a network. You have a unit. And in that unit is preparedness in terms of protection, in terms of productivity, providing, family, everything, everything is in there. These individuals become family. And the family's objective, man, is to protect and provide for each other, to prepare for whatever, Those who think like that, man, they understand, man, in times of peace, you prepare for war. You prepare for, again, the inevitable, shit, you when the funk was going to happen, 6 months ago, it could possibly happen in 6 months, I think that's what that is, man. With being prepared is anytime an individual looks at himself as being ready for the inevitable or an outcome that a lot of people might take for granted, what they have in place is this, man. First, again, self, the unit, that love, that respect, that, that unification, that solidarity. Then you got food, clothes, shelter. You have protection. You got all that shit that matter. But you're doing it on a scale, man, where, hey, man, okay, we know the Joneses and, that extended family over there, let's link up. Let's link up. Let's see what they need. Let's see what they can provide. Let's see what we can bring together. Let's prepare, not just ourselves, but those who look like us. Let's get ready. Everybody ain't always going to want to be down with the get down. You got to understand that. I do. I know I can have my shit together, but again, man, that don't mean spit if it's just this house and I got that house over there, that house right there, and that house right there, and they all look like us, but they not ready. When the shit happened, like, damn, them 3 houses got knocked down. Now we standing by ourselves, man. Had we had our shit together, well, we prepared. We've been in communication with these brothers and sisters and say, man, this is what we're going to set up a perimeter. Let's get it up. Let's have this ready. Let's get it up. Let's communicate. Let's be prepared for the unexpected, for the inevitable, or whatever. But again, that takes individuals understanding, themselves first, and through that understanding the fucking world we live in. A lot of us think that it's going to be all right. Got a few thousand in the bank, 20,000 in the bank, thinking the money's good. You got to worry about that. A few acres of land, that's okay. Well, I know the Joneses, they down there about a mile away, man. Well, where's the unity though? How are we putting this shit together to make it work for us? How are we prepared as a unit? What is our strategy? If something happened to the Joneses, how are we going to know that? What do we have in place that will prepare us, to assist, help, support one of our people, man, if something should go wrong? What do we know? What do we know in terms of going about being there for them? I don't know, man. It's a lot. But I think on the face of it, the first thing we need to do in order to prepare for, we got to know who the hell we are so that we know how to go about doing some shit. If we don't know that, we in trouble. We're in trouble. Most of us don't have the basics in place. Facts. You know, most of us say, hey man, I got a few of them sticks and I got, you know, poles, and hey man, that don't mean jack. How are you prepared for a siege? How are you prepared for, you know, being waited out? How are you prepared to deal with somebody that got more than what you got in terms of ornaments and shit like that? What's in place? Again, man, you know, I think preparedness, man, we got to be, there has to be some solidarity, man, for us to actually be really prepared for whatever they got planned for us. And if we're not prepared for that, we don't have a plan, we don't have a strategy. You know, all of y'all who, you know, like I say, that separation is a cold beast. We're so divided and fractured. We're fragmented. We're everywhere. Where's the plan for that? Where's the plan where we draw it? I don't know, man. We're not prepared. In that respect, that's what I mean, man. We ain't ready for some shit, man, that's going to be on a scale that's going to be 10 times, maybe 100 times more than what a lot of us think we're prepared for. You know? Black Wall Street, Toast, all that shit, they thought they were prepared. You know? They thought they, you know, they had it together. They knew, but they didn't. They weren't prepared. They did all that, you know, I don't know, man. I say this all the time, man. They did great things, man, educationally, financially. They did that. As a society, they built themselves up fresh out of slavery, so to speak. They had everything in place except a prepared defense. I'm about to say I can imagine how they were running around there scared, hooping out, but I can't imagine that terror. You know, you got 5 brothers over here with shotguns, you know, and they got Thompsons and whatever they got, planes dropping bombs. You know what? Can you prepare for that type of shit? Yeah. I don't know, man. That's what I think that is, man. It's more than actually food, clothes, and shelter. You know? That's what I think. I think it's more than that. I think, yeah, you know, those are necessities, but I also think that, man, there has to be communication in such a way where we understand in terms of defense, in terms of offense, shit like that. There has to be a plan. A plan, man, for, you know, for war. You know? And that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Other than that, man, you know, again, we just said this last week. Fat Rat could be over there, man, on 300 acres. I'm over here on 300 acres. Look at that distance. You know, got 300 acres. You know, X amount of family and extended family over there, X amount over here. You know, for anybody want to do something coordinated, that ain't nothing. You drive right in between them 2 spots, them 2 properties, and go to work. You know, we got whole city blocks, man. People aren't prepared for that type of shit. That's what I'm talking about. You go back, think about that bombing that happened. I think was that Move or Push. I mean, you know, I forget the name of the organization right now. The mayor was a brother, but anyway, this was this. If you can call them that, revolutionary, you know, get down, man. Were they prepared? I don't think they were prepared. You know, I just don't think they were prepared. You know, and I'm telling you, that will be our problem. So preparedness to me is not just having, again, food, clothes, and shelter, having this mindset that, well, okay, we want to elevate, we want to empower ourselves, we want to have our own shit, be independent, man. Man, to have that, man, you got to have some shit ready. You know, You got to have some shit ready. You know, I'm sitting there talking about this. I'm thinking about the so-called American Revolution, and they had how they had shit set up, and they saw them coming before they got there, and all this shit. They were prepared. They had strategy. You know, they had moves and plans. You know, that's how they defeated their enemy. You know, what we got. What we got. You know, we're not prepared. All they can take. They cut off the water first. What do we got, man? As an alternate, what do we got if they cut off the water? And the water ain't no damn good anyway. So, but what if they take the water? How are we gonna do? You know, how are we gonna do without water? You know, they close the grocery stores. How are we prepared to deal with that? They shut down the gas stations. They move in the National Guard and they cut off major intersections until you can't go nowhere. Are you ready for that? We're not prepared, man. And it's only, and again, man, I think a lot of that is because, well, if you look at how, again, we're so distracted, I think the reason for our distraction is so that we don't start thinking critically. We don't get it together, man. That we don't start thinking like warriors, preparing for battle, a war we already know is here. You know what I mean? That's it. I don't know, man. What I do know is if they decide to do whatever the hell, ain't nobody ready for that shit. Ain't nobody ready for that. We can't even have a Mexican standoff with them, man. That's how unprepared, ill prepared we are. And I'm speaking like that. I'm speaking in terms of warfare in the physical sense, because that's the reality. You know, that's what we're seeing take place. It's more conspicuous than it is the warfare taking place behind the scenes, that inconspicuous warfare, finance, employment, you know, education, shit like that. You know, sometimes hard to put your finger on it, but you know it's there. But the physical aspect of warfare, that's in full effect. We see that. We see it amongst ourselves, and we see it coming from others. Not even prepared for that, man. We can't hold nobody, or we can't, you know, we couldn't last a day in a siege, you know, because we're ill prepared. And I say, man, in order for that shit to correct that, we got to start, man. We said this last night and the night before. We have to start dealing with ourselves, man, and our issues. We have to clean our minds out, man, and start thinking like men. We have to come to know what we're about, man. You know, what we'll do, what we won't do, what we'll say, what we won't say, you know? And then we have to start interacting with like-minded people, man. We got to build a fortress around us with the same people. Everybody wants to say, man, I'm getting this land over here and I'm getting that over there and I'm with back there, and that shit don't help nobody, man. You know, I don't care what state in this union you go in, there may be 10 to 15, maybe 20 white militias in every state who are prepared. Who are prepared, man. That's not to say that we don't have that. We don't have that like that, you know. You know what I mean? You know, I would like to see that, you know, put into effect one day. Well, we don't just see them in you know, down south and in a few of them southern states where, you know, you might have 52, you know, 200 brothers, you know, or maybe even Chicago, maybe even Detroit. But, you know, in every state, man, 10 black militias, all connected, all joined together, all prepared to defend and protect the women and children at any cost. Prepared, man, to, you know, set out a siege, you know, have resources put away, you know, not worried about, man, okay, they didn't cut the water off. or they didn't, ain't no more, you can't go to gas station, you know what I mean? Prepared in terms of resources, man, prepared again in terms of military. I think that's the first thing, man. If you ask me. If you ask me, you know, like they say, man, in times of peace, you prepare for war. You know, and a lot of us think we're at peace. That we, you know, and if that's the case, then why aren't we preparing for war? So that's what it means to me. That's what being prepared means to me. That's what it looks like. It starts from the individual, and those individuals giving themselves up as such and becoming a unit, working together, being unified. That's solidarity, man. The mission is the same. The music, the beat, it's all the same, you know. Strategy, everything, man. And they're looking to like-minded brothers and sisters. They've established communication lines. They've done everything that they're mindful of doing, you know, and seeking out other ways, man, to keep preparedness at their advantage. You know what I mean? On their side. So that's what I think, man. Other than that, man, again, when we're not doing that, when we are so selfish rather than selfless, and again, when we get to know thyself, you get to understand, you become to understand that it ain't about you per se anymore. You know, but we're so selfish, man, that, you know, we tend to think the way we think, and that thought process says one thing, and we say it out loud every chance we get: me. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, me. And then most of them don't be like me and mines, you know, it would be me, you know. Don't even care about the mines. You know? So that's what that looked like to me, man. You know, being ready looks just like that to me. To where we've established, man, protocols, where we're prepared, man, not as best as we can be, but man, you know, without exemption, we are prepared to the last man, woman, and child, man, do what need to be done, you know, and what it look like. And that is, man, we ain't just having a gun, just having a stick or a pole don't really mean jack if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing with that thing. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot of shit, man, that comes into play before that thing comes into play. So that's what being ready is to me, knowing what comes into play before you have to come into play with that. That is for me, bro. James said the situation is going to face us all. Stay down and stay strong. Yeah, man, I'll tell y'all what. They've made enough movies to show y'all how they go about doing shit. You know, the divide and conquer, that shit is ran. That play is ran on so many levels. On so many fucking levels, man. That's scary. It's ran on so many levels, man. But the fact of the matter is, man, they make movies and they tell y'all how they do shit. They tell us how they getting down. They getting down like they're prepared, you know, for real. For real. You know, hey man, they put in the work. They put in the work. You know, that's just it. Frank Nitty, what it do, loved one? Salute, Bub, and to the chat, man. Appreciate your presence, bro. James said, man, I went for a cool little bike ride earlier, Bub, just to keep my mind right. Don't nothing ride like that Schwinn, brother Bub. Oh, you got you a Schwinn? I don't know, man. I like the Harley. I ain't even been on my bike in a minute, man. I'd rather jump on the Harley, man, and, you know, turn the music up, man, and just, you know, boom. You know. Speaking of bikes, that's another form of being prepared. You know, cause just, you know, you try to prepare for the unexpected. So a lot of us think, oh man, something happened, man, I'm gonna jump in my car and go on. Oh man, all that shut down. You ain't gonna be getting nowhere in the car. We all should have e-bikes and regular bikes. We all should have dirt bikes. Just saying, so that you could move around. You don't want to be able to move around, man, if shit hit the fan. Be holed up in it. Man, you got to want to move around. And they got us, hey, for most of us, see a lot of brothers, now, just to be straight up, man, for those brothers who, let's say, have land, and that land is in a wooded at fort, there are trees around, a lot of trees, dense forests or whatever. That's a good look in a lot of respects. That's a good look. You can use that to your advantage. What I mean? As well, it could be used to get you too. But for us in the cities, we're at a disadvantage. We're at a cold disadvantage, man. So when I was saying earlier, when they decide whatever, they can cordon off everything. Everything becomes sectors and grids. And they go from grid to grid, sector to sector, and do what they want to do. So your movement, you kind of you kind of stuck. You're at a disadvantage. Again, with woods and shit around you, trees hide you from the drones and all the other shit. In the cities, there's not much cover from a drone. A drone can spot you 100 feet in the air. You ain't even got to hear it or see it, but it see you. Tracking your move. They know everything you're doing. The wooded area provides you more cover. You ain't got that here, man. But I'm saying all that to say, man, for those of us who are here, this is not really an ideal situation if shit were to go bad. It's just not. It's just not. I'm not going to say too much of what, but it's not ideal. It's not advantageous. It's really not. Now you couple that with all the technology they got laying in wait. They can't wait to use a lot of this shit, man. The drones that shoot bullets, they ain't just dropping grenades on you. Them motherfuckers shoot, The robotic dogs, they got the I've seen some, man, with AKs attached on their back, man. MP5, they got shit, There's a lot, man, that we ain't checking out. We're not really paying close attention to. But again, that's only because, man, how everything is set up. How everything is intentional. If a lot of people don't believe that 2030 is a real plan, there's not much you can tell them. There's not much they think they need to prepare for. You know what I'm saying? If the plan is to control the people, their movements, eventually their thoughts, their habits, everything, man, what you gonna do about that? How you gonna combat that? How are you prepared for that? If they tell you, man, the only thing you can eat is what we serving you. You can't grow a garden. You can't do this. You can't do that. The only water you drink is the water we provide. How you prepare for that? Again, there's just so many levels of this shit, man. There's so many levels. Okay. But hey. Yeah, man. Gonna have that transport ready. Oh, man. Oh, that's Henry said that. Henry said, man, these cats are banging with their children nowadays. Let me be quite frank, bro. They was doing that shit in our day, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Bro. They was doing that shit. That shit was being done in our day, in the 80s. Late 70s, 80s. Having them banging, throwing up the set. Some of them was letting them drink, get a sip, all kind of shit. You know, this shit been going on. It's probably worse now, but yeah, this been going on, man. All right, James said, man, I'm a slow cruiser, bub. You know, I'm on that low riding tip. Never been had the need for speed, LOL. Yeah, speed kills, man. Speed kills. I done had some fast cars, man, and I cracked every one of them. You know, first got my Harley, cracked that. Well, actually ran into a gate, you know, and paid $300 for a new fender. Lucky I didn't get hurt, man. That thing took off, man, and I was like, oh, fuck. Family said I looked like I was Superman with my feet, like I was flying, holding on to handlebars. I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah, man, speed kills, bro. Yeah, man. Old soul with a cold stroll, man. Said with military technology so advanced, imagine what they'll do to the unprepared. Those lifelong beasts will look primitive. Man, look, they ain't even got to come to your house no more, man. They'll just send a missile about long as my finger if they want to. You know, I don't know, man. They, you know, shit. They got the technology, man. They can see, count how many bodies in that mug, man. Unless you lining your shit with lead, they know every movement you making in that mug, man. You know, they pick up sound, man, from shit 3-4 blocks away. Everything you talking about. How you prepare for that type of shit? You know, that's what I be tripping on, like, man. And because I'm, you know, we should know they have the technology. What's this one they call? It's not necessarily invisibility. It's like a hologram technology. You know, it's a fabric that could, you know, a mug can be right here on my shoulder. I don't see this individual because whatever that is, that fabric they created, his shirt could be my shirt. You know, I wouldn't know the difference. You know what I mean? I mean, they got all kind of shit, man. And I figure, man, to them, that's the shit they gonna use, man. If shit should really jump off, they like, man, we're gonna kill all these motherfuckers. You know, these motherfuckers got anti-gravity, you know, devices and shit. They got all kind of shit, man. And I don't doubt for a minute they will try it on us. Them bastards drop bombs, man, on the Japanese, man. Atomic bombs on the Japanese, man. You don't think they use all that shit on us? You don't think they using that shit on us? Shit. How you prepare for that, man? I don't know. Shit. I don't know. Yeah, they get to using that shit, man. Yeah, like we using rocks and slings and shit. You know, we slinging rocks or slingshots, man, while they using high-tech shit. Evaporating motherfuckers. I don't know, man. How you prepare for that type of shit? Hulan the Survivor said, man, I'm in here too, man. Tapped in, chopping up some bok choy. Getting it in, man. Yeah, you gonna make your own Asian food tonight, huh? You got that bok choy going on. Hulan said, man, strength and endurance to the whole chat. There you go. Frank Nitty said, man, move bombing Leia Africa and them birdie Africans was the only child to survive. The move bombing Leia Africa and them burning birdie Africa was the only child to survive. Yeah. And in that respect, I only said that, I brought that up because in my mind, they weren't prepared. They weren't prepared for an exit, a strategy, for, you know, for the women and children, man, to make it to safety. They had knock holes all the way down to the first apartment to the end so that they can get out. You know what I mean? Just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just saying, are we prepared? And I don't think so. I don't think so. And that goes for us brothers and sisters who think we are prepared. and we're really not. You know, I'm just my opinion though. All right. Everything starts from concentration. Tell the truth, man. Lisa Moore said, Grand Rising, Brother Bud, blessings to you and the family. Peace and love to the kings and queens in the RGC. Black first, everybody. Really, really appreciate your presence here. Farrah said, man, it's a good thing that an actual God exists who exercises military power over all military capabilities on our planet, because in truth, there is no getting ready for war with the military might of America as a 13% minority without one military tank, helicopter, jet carrier, or drone system to get down from an office 200 miles away. You know, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, man. And when we're talking about the military might of the United States, yeah, most people would think, hey, man, you can't beat them. They got the best of the best, man. You're not going, no, man, no. They got the best jets. They got the best Navy, you know, best Air Force, best Navy, best Marine Corps, you know, Army, you know. If, you know, they got the best. But you couldn't tell that to them Vietnamese. They didn't give a fuck about that. What that mean? What that mean? They were prepared to fight to the very end, man. They didn't give a flying flick about none of that. You know, they prayed to their ancestors, man, and then they went into them tunnels, man, and them jungles, man, and they got it in. Napalm wasn't stopping them, man. M60s wasn't none, man. They didn't get tanks, you know, RPG, none of that shit mattered to them, man. You couldn't have told them that they was fighting a giant, man. They were ants. They wouldn't have believed you. You know. Resilient, man. In spite of the odds. You couldn't have told Iran, you can't hang with the United. They're going to obliterate y'all. They're going to break you in a week. With all that might. Still ain't broke them. With all that military technology, they still ain't broke them. And they showing the fuck ain't set boots on the ground. I wonder why. Nah, man, you know, you defeated the first time you start thinking like, oh shit, man, that gun is bigger than mine. And he got more bullets. I'm gonna lose. He got F-35s. I got a paper airplane, man. You know, I got a sorry ass drone, man. Can't carry 10 pounds. You know, I can't win. Fuck that, man. You know, and that's part of that get down in terms of how they, you know, press shit, put shit out there. They want to impress upon their enemies. You got no win with us. You know, we're the best in the world. We got them. So what? So what? So what? Go underground, man. That's how you wait them out. You know? That seems to be the way to, you know, hey, you know, guerrilla warfare, shit. It ain't over till it's over, you know. And like I say, man, you couldn't have told them Vietnamese, man, they were gonna get mopped up, or you know, that America would colonize Vietnam after France's failure. You couldn't tell them that. You couldn't convince them that they were gonna all die or be colonized by America and France. You couldn't, no, man. You can't tell Iran that, hey man, America and Israel are gonna knock y'all off the face of the map, man. Just give up. Y'all can't win. You ain't just gonna tell them that. Care what they got. No. And I don't see anybody's resilience stronger than ours. I used to be doing, I remember back in the day, oh man, I can't do that as a kid. Mom, you say, man, where there's a will, there's a way. How strong is our will? If it's as strong as it need to be, we'll find a way. We always have. We always will. I don't worry about it like that, bro. I don't worry about it like that. I see it as their day is coming, and we again, we're going to be the ones to bring it to them in spite of all that they got. I was just talking the other day how Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, is firing black military personnel left and right. Generals and shit, men and women, black, higher ups. That ain't for nothing. Them motherfuckers, they scared. They are scared, or they understand that, whatever their notion is, it's going to be so atrocious that those brothers and sisters in the military are going to turn on their asses. They got control of whole bases. They got control of whole fleets of F-35s, tank battalions and shit. Yeah, well, we got to get rid of y'all, man. We know. When it comes to warfare, hey, man, you guys are fucking savages. Yeah, man, we can't worry about that shit, man. All we need to be on is preparing. It's going to be what it's going to be, man. And I think that should be described or experienced, lived out based upon how we go about doing shit. Where there's a will, there's a way. I trust that shit. I trust that shit. I can't speak for nobody else, man. Okay, but Fat Rat going to say, man, we got to get acquainted with what UAP technology is and to what degree it threatens worldwide military capabilities. Cloaking, UAP. Okay. So what is UAP technology? What is UAP technology? Yeah, B16, cloaking. They call it cloaking, yeah. Okay. That's a new phraseology, everybody. For those who don't know, UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. Some UAP replaced UFO, unidentified flying object. All right, that shit is identifiable, man. Motherfuckers know what the hell going on, man. Know exactly what's happening, man. Real shit. Fat Rat going to say, man, they had territorial superiority and ground training, and Nagasaki is my point. It's irresponsible to overlook facts while motivating the troops. Well, I look at it like this, man. In any respect, man, when we talk about Nagasaki and Hiroshima, actually, there was no need for the United States to drop the atomic bomb on either location. I think we dropped 3, but there was no need. There was no need. It was done not out of malice, but as an experiment. They want to see the effects of it. They wanted to see the effects of it. They wanted to see if they could create something stronger than what the end result of that atomic weapon would be. You know what I mean? And so the bombs have over time evolved. You know, they've evolved from atomic to nuclear. They got all kinds. Hydrogen, you know, they got all kinds. They got all kinds. But the fact that they had destroyed the Japanese Navy already, that mean it was decimated, man. This is why you have kamikazes, you know, because the Navy was already, you know, being sunk. So, boom. They didn't have to do that. I'm saying all that to say, man, you know, that was all experimentation. I think the fact that, let's look at, you know, they used napalm, Agent Orange in Vietnam, right? I think that the only reason why they didn't use a nuclear weapon or atomic bomb in Vietnam was because they knew those Vietnamese were underground, and that they all knew, you know, they were underground. And so, you know, yeah, they would probably level the vegetation, you know, and kill those who were ignorant enough to stay out, you know, Ho Chi Minh City, all that would have got knocked down. And so there was probably a lot of conversation from the West saying, man, don't do that. You know what I mean? We'll win the war. We'll run Vietnam, you know. Didn't pan out like that. But I think the only reason they didn't bomb Vietnam, continue their experimentation, was because others had kind of stood in the way of that. You know, napalm was also an experiment. You know, it was also an experiment. You know, they found out ways how to deforest, you know, vegetation. You know, they worked on all kind of shit, man. You know, so the experimentation phase of these people, it's ongoing. Now they got what you call them, UAPs. That's all them. You know, I don't think nothing other than that. You know, I don't think that they're extraterrestrials or, you know, aliens or whatever, man. You know, nah. And if they say that there is, I think they will only say that just so that they can do another experiment and then blame it on the aliens. That's how they get out. That's just how they get out, man. That's how they get out. You know, they'll build some shit, man, and they'll make up some shit real quick, man. Be like, oh shit, we don't want the people to panic and say there's life, da 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 da. Then, you know, hey man, come on. No. Their mugs, man, would blow up a whole city and say the aliens did it. Coldest part about that, a whole lot of people are gonna believe him. Will believe him. I'm just saying, man. That right, say the effect was game over. Again, he said they had territorial superiority and ground training. And Nagasaki is my point. It's irresponsible to overlook facts while motivating the troops. The effect was game over. You're going to say, Fat Rat, the reason these initiated Europeans, I'm talking 1%ers, are panicking is one thing. Directly connected to UAPs. What else poses a threat to their civilization? And the ET talk is for commoners to fight in controversy. I think we're the threat. I think we as a people, and you know, I think we're the threat. You know, that's my opinion. I think we are the threat. You know, we are the threat to their civilization. Period. Point blank. You know, that's what I think. No, Ferret, yeah, that's a conversation I don't I don't necessarily get into that those type of conversations. I'm not, against them. It's just, when I hear those type of conversations, I just, for the most part, I just listen. I've never been one to attach UFOs, aliens, to the building of the pyramids and shit like that. I don't do that. Maybe because I don't know enough about it, right? But again, I trust that it's us, man, and it's us that's here, man. That much. I can only go back so far, and that ain't far. You know what I mean? I can't speak to, no more than I can speak to, a God. Let's say being, him, he, or her, she, I can't speak to that shit. I mean? So I tend not to do that. You know what I mean? I tend not to do that. I can't speak to aliens. You know what I mean? Never saw one. Never know anybody see one. The family I come from never discussed that. That was never discussion. That our discussions always centered around our people throughout antiquity. Again, being, whoever, that creation is, that creator, the Most High, Allah, God, Yahweh, whatever, whatever. Ours is always, our teaching has always been, we're spiritual people. Even when my mom would, make us go to church, we'd come home and she would talk about the connection the ancestors had with one another, the abilities they had, even while doing so-called slavery, their ability, to communicate, to find, to do things that were uncommon or that master thought were impossible. So that's what we were raised on, and again, almost in conjunction with Christianity, but I've always been defiant towards, Christ and, religion, but I've always thought that or trust that there's a connection with us spiritually. There's something, about us that no one else can speak to. And that, that ain't necessarily about no alien stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think that whatever created us, man, again, we're stewards. Our job, what we supposed to be preparing for, is taking back what was, given to us for the purpose of, watching over this thing, taking care of this thing, prospering off of it, surviving on it, evolving because of it, even, so that's what I think, man. I'm not tuned into, the aliens and the, our brothers and sisters built spaceships, flew across the galaxy, and I'm not being facetious. I'm just saying I'm not into none of that. It's just too many. For me, I'm gonna tell you something. This is some real shit, for Fat Rat. This few. There are too many stories, man. Everybody got a story about something, and everybody's story is the truth. While everybody else's story is made up, it's fake. It's to deceive you. It's to trick you. For me, that's a that make my antenna go up. It makes my antenna go up. So just for that reason, man, I tend to trust that our DNA have it's something special, all right, and it's not necessarily alien special, but it's something special, So that's what I'm cool with. That's what I live with, bro. You say we run the UAPs. The pyramid builders run the UAPs. You're going to say this is real, bub, but okay, I digress. Let me end on this note. If 1,000 of us enter a colloquium to debate, and one expert's superiority over the 999, he will emerge as the highest in that debate. Now, take all of the great minds, put them in a colloquial debate, and the one who emerges is supreme. Supreme in what way? Supreme in what way? You know, in debating? Supreme how? Does that make him physically supreme? I mean, you know, just what, intellectually supreme, or again, just supreme in a debate? I don't know. You know, I don't know how, you know, I'm of that 999, I might be the one. So it'll be 998 of them might look at him as supreme. I wouldn't. You know, when my mind is wired, I'd be like, all right, motherfucker, you just beat the debate. Yeah. That don't make you supreme. Not in my mind. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know. It emerges supreme how? Why must that one individual out of 1,000 be crowned or, you know, be titled supreme? No, I don't get that. I'm going to say there's over 8 billion people on our earth. There has got to be various accounts, bro. Whatever way was debated. And again, that's fine. I get it. But my point was, because there are so many different accounts of whatever it is, who's to say that the one that those who say is the right one is? Who's to say that that account is the account that should be trusted more than all the others? Who said? And I already know the answer. I think I do. For most of you, the Most High, who, you know. But again, they're saying the same thing. They're saying the same thing. You know. You say whatever way was debated. Well, you got to understand how colloquial debates are based on scientists with mathematical equations that are determining courses of action. The math says it. And the crazy thing is, right? This is some crazy shit. And I don't think this is just Hollywood, right? Them bastards be the first ones to die. You know. They be the first ones to die, you know, and it's crazy. These scientists, these geniuses, these supreme, you know, thought thinkers, be the first to go. It's funny in that if we, you know, let's go back 6 months, 2026. I think there was a total of I think 6 to 8 scientists, top of the line, all ended up dead. The motherfuckers didn't have the mathematical know-how to figure out the motherfuckers was finna kill them. They didn't think that shit out. You mean tell me they didn't think that through, but we're gonna call them supreme. Fuck that, bro. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not, and I'm not trying to be funny. These were some of the best of the fucking best. And I would imagine they were colloquial debaters also. They work up a mathematical equation that'll fucking make me retarded. You know what I mean? Make me start drooling at the mouth, right? But you mean to tell me they couldn't calculate that equation? They couldn't understand that the fucking shit they was on was going to lead to their demise? I don't know, bro. I just, and the math says it. I don't know, man. I'm just saying. I can't, I just, not me. Not me. If that's the case, these scientists with mathematical equations, and they work out or are able to determine courses of action because the math says so. That's like a psychic not knowing, motherfucker, you finna get hit by this car. You mean to tell me your psychic didn't tell you that when you stepped off this curb, that bus was gonna hit you? That's what that sounds like to me. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not trying to be funny, man. I'm just saying, Last question. Malaysia Airline Flight 370. The best scientist on a single flight vanishes in our faces. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I can't tell you that. I cannot tell you that. I cannot, And again, that goes back to what I was saying about certain things. Certain things, a lot of us can't tell us or tell ourselves, tell each other, because we don't know. We weren't there. We don't know. Even if that's something that happened, even if that's something that actually occurred, Yeah. Getting hit by a bus don't change the scientific discovery. Okay. But I'm saying, man, they didn't discover that them. In that equation was their demise. They didn't get to that. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to figure that one out. I'm just trying to figure that one out. Again, for me, man, I'm like I said, man, I don't. I'm still in the learning process, bro. I'm just put it to you like that. I can't tell you about some shit that most of you brothers can tell me about. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason for that too, for the most part. But a lot of shit I leave to other brothers. I leave that to other brothers. That's that's their interest. That's that's what they lock on to. I tend to be a little more, I don't know. I don't lock on to certain things like that. Especially if, I don't know. I can't explain it, But if it piques my interest, I'll begin to look into it. What can I learn from that? Not what somebody then told me and taught me and all this stuff. You know what I mean? So that's all that is, brother. Again, I'm still picking up shit, bro. I don't know what else to tell you in that respect, other than I'm still picking up shit. Some shit I'll pick up, I'll look at it, man, I might drop it. I'm going about my business. Other shit, I'll look at it, man, turn around in my hand, my fingers, man, might put it in my pocket. It depends. It depends. Some scientists wouldn't survive South Central, but could vastly improve life in South Central. Would they have to be there to do that? And again, I'm just, what we see taking place, man, is orchestrated, man. It's all manufactured, man, by them, man. That it's that simple to me. To me, man. Everything that we know to be just bad, just messed up, fucked up, man, it's because of them. And no one else. And no one else, man. They came out of the dark ages fucked up. Now anything and everything before that, pretty sure they were fucked up as well. But everything that we're experiencing as a people, and that just ain't us, man, but anybody else, man, even their own, is because of them. It's because of them, bro. And I'm just of the mind that to me, it makes no sense to, equate everything we see happening in the world and that has happened throughout history that we know is fucked up. To try to equate that to something other than them is just wrong. It's wrong, The evidence is there, So I look at it like, okay, blame need to be placed where it need to be placed, where where the wrong come from. We all know that them. So to me, that says a great deal. It says a great deal. These people are so drunk on greed, on pervertedness, on a whole lot of shit, man, that ain't no in the world they want to change or relinquish this shit. They're being satiated, man. They get they feel on this shit, man. They love it. They love it. Some of them, man, got enough power to where they get so bored they can create a catastrophe and be excused for it. It's what they want to do, bro. This ain't nobody else doing this shit. You know what I mean? That's facts. It's facts. You say the scientists who blueprinted the V-twin on a Harley may have never rode one. It's a cool assumption there. I ain't got no problem with it because you worded it right. Had you said never rode one, then I'd be like, how you know? That was his, get it. Let me put this on the frame. Let me hook it up. Let me ride this. He may have done that, right? So I get that. That'd be different, scientists saying, okay, man, this rocket we're building that's going to take us to the moon. Yeah, he ain't got to get in that spaceship to know what that, that rocket could do or what it could possibly do. I get that. You know what I mean? I get that. But he knows how to build it, to propel it, get that potion, get it up there. He ain't got to be on the rocket to know it's going to go. I get that. You got no argument from me. You got no argument from me there, bro. You laughing. I think, yeah, in most cases, I don't know, man. When it comes to shit like that, yeah, that's neither here nor there. I'm pretty sure that motherfucker may have jumped on that motorcycle, though. Let me ride this thing, man. They got practice tracks and shit all over there where they research and shit, where the RD labs are. Yeah, man, they got a track over there too, man. Hook that thing up. Give me a helmet. I'm going to take it for a ride. Let me see. I'll be able to tell you the feel of it, That'd be a lot different, though. Yeah, like I said, scientists building a rocket for a fucking spaceship. He like, man, I ain't getting on this because there's a probability this thing could explode about 200 feet off the ground. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I didn't mean the astronaut. I meant the scientist who built the rocket, you know, but yeah. What I do, bro? No, man. Oh, bullshit side. I'm just, you know. Yeah, man. Yeah, yo, it's about that time, man. I don't see Poke up in here. That's all right, man. I hope he's well. Damn, Fat Rap, we've been talking to him, bro. That's a whole lot of chatting right there, bro. Damn, that's the first. I ain't never know you go that deep, bro. You, woo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, damn, Fat Rat, you wasn't playing tonight, boy. Appreciate it though. I imagine, man, like my brother-in-law be talking about certain things, you know what I mean, that has to do with, you know, our people and the stars, you know, the galaxy, you know, space, you know. And my interest be peaked, but not like, I got to be really bored just to really, hear it. But I imagine it's a fantastic story or reaccount of what it is. You know what I mean? I'm now thinking maybe let me look at it. Let me ask about. Let's see what that is. You know, I think I may want to. I don't know. I ain't never been moved by that type of stuff, but you know. All right, y'all. All right, look here, man. I'm about to cut, man. I smell my food. I got salmon tonight. Love it. You know, I don't get that. If I could, I'd eat salmon every day, man. But they say, yeah, you can't do that. So you got to be careful. But I love me some salmon, man. I smell it. I think, man, that when we open up, you know, these avenues, man, these doors to communication, man, I think that we begin to learn not just each other, but a lot about ourselves, you know. Because I could be, Fat Rat could say something, man, the other brothers, man, Lonzo, Roscoe, you know, Henry, Chris could say something that's profound. And as I'm reading it, as responding, I'm thinking, you know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa, okay. You know, don't brush that aside. It something to that, you know. I'm saying that to say, man, there's always something to learn, man. You know, I love the fact that we've been able to get in here, man. And even if I or anyone don't agree with what the conversation is, for whatever reason, man, there's still always something that can be gotten from it. And again, it's about opening those lines of communication. We're starting to talk, you know, about things that, you know, like again, normally I don't talk about certain things. You know, I'll let those who know what to talk about, I'll listen. But yeah, you know, I have, you know, a certain interest, or my interest may be piqued to a certain degree. And I might say, well, what about, you know, and I might be doing that just to get, you know, not just a feedback, but also really a grander understanding of what the fuck you're talking about. But the fact that we can communicate is the beauty in all this. That's what I say. That's what I think. You know what I mean? And without this communication, man, then yeah, man, there's no way that we can impart whatever knowledge that is that needs to be passed on or that should be passed on. You know, if it's just knowledge in terms of preparing for the inevitable or, you know, for the unexpected, then so be it. You know, that's communication, man, being exchanged, it's being handed out freely, man. And probably, let's hope for the greater good. You know? So just the fact that this is possible is something, I think is always a good look. It's always a good look. And this is the look I think we need to have more of, this thing about communicating with each other. Because like I say, man, for me, I'm always going to get something. I'm still learning, man. I love that. I love that, man. About myself as well as my brothers, my sisters, you know what I mean? It puts me in a space, I think, that's, I think when learning is real, when it's genuine, it's a good thing, man. I find myself in that space, on this Get Out. So all I'm saying is, man, I love the fact that we have the conversations we have. We can communicate and not be, and I'm not gonna say I hope, but I trust that we not be offended or disrespected by one of our brothers and sisters just based upon a conversation. You know what I mean? Whether we like it or not, you know what I mean? Whether we agree with it or not, it's still the fact that we can have these conversations and, walk away from them, man. Oh, I like that shit. You know what I mean? I like that shit. So that is, man. All love and respect always. The first thing I'd say to people, man, love and respect. I think that's necessary. There's a few others after it, but love and respect in my mind, that's it, man. There could be love for self, respect for self. I'm gonna get at. So I love and respect my brothers and sisters, man. Each one of y'all, take care of yourselves, man. Let's get it in like we should, man. The day is not over yet. Still some hours, man. Make the most of it. Make the most of it, because again, we don't know. We don't know if we get that touch. If the ancestors, tap into the spirit and say, okay, open your eyes now, so your eyes are open. Make it happen. Enjoy this shit, All right, AMLGB, man. You're late again, but that's all right. Good to see you up in here, brother. Late, better than never. Appreciate your presence, man, and your participation. Let's get out. Wake and bake. Where you been, man? The hell you been? Damn, bro. You done moved to Timbuktu or something. Well, they ain't got internet out there. Say what's up, Big Bub, man. It's been a while since I've been tapped in on the lives, but I have been keeping up. Appreciate hearing that, bro. And as always, again, it's good to see you up in here hanging out with us. Hey, you as well, AM. So you brothers know, man. This is a space, man. It's safe. And this is a space, I think, man, you can, we were just talking about this. You ain't got to pick nothing up, man. It'll be handed to you, man. If you don't want it, you can drop it. You want it, put it in your pocket, man. It's all good. It's all good, man. AM said, man, work and fam, big homie. Hey, that's important. That's priority. You're just considering, that's priority. Wake and Bake said, man, I've been out the way, OG. Yeah, man, like most of us, man, we, things are wild. A lot of shit is crazy, man. I hear this phrase more and more. I told my wife the other day, I said, I made up the phrase crazy work. She looked, you got a woman, a wife, man, when she give you that look, like, boy, shut up. She gave me like, boy, shut up. Say, no, baby, I don't see it. It's just like I made up the one cupcake. Oh, man, you cupcaking. I'm telling you. All right, baby, I got to go shower. Just can't hear it. Can't wait to get away from me. But yeah, man, crazy work occurring, man. Crazy work occurring, man. Yeah. Wake and Bake said, man, salute to the old and the new RGC loved ones. Appreciate you, brother. All right, real spit. Appreciate you. AM said, man, salute soldiers. All right, Fat Rat. All love and respect, though, bro. Like I said, man, that's real spit, man. All love and respect. You said, Bub, I knew you was going to start. Good one. All love, everybody. It's that time. I'm gonna send us out with the outro, man. Wake up, everybody, man. The second half of this get down, man. Just know this, man. Power's in the people, man. The power that everybody talk about, that everybody imagine, that everybody want. It's in the people, man. And the people ain't nobody but us. You know, sound a little, you know, biased, but yeah, it is. You know, the power is in the people, man. Black Fist held high, man. All love and respect each and every one of you. Let me drop this right quick, and we're gonna call it a night on this end. On this end, everybody. Like I say, for the rest of y'all, we still got time, man. All right, let's get this in. Wake up, black people.
This verse for the black woman, the queen of the household, the backbone, the survival, the one who carried generations through the darkest trials. When the world was cold, she was the one. When the family broke, she held the phone. When fathers were absent, she carried the weight. Working 2 jobs, still putting food on plates. Who taught us our first words? Who wiped away our tears? Who prayed over our beds and fought away our fear? The black woman deserves protection and respect, not abuse, not neglect, not betrayal, not disrespect. If she suffers, the family suffers. If the family suffers, the community suffers. And if the community suffers, the future suffers. So every real man listen and honor your mother, protect your daughter, love your sister, cherish your wife. Because a community that protects its women protects its future. Wake up, black people. The babies need us now. Wake up, black people. The mothers need us now. Protect our women, protect our children, protect our elders. Let's rebuild our village. Wake up, black people. Wake up, black people. To the young brothers carry anger inside. I understand the pain, but don't let it decide who you become or who you leave behind. Don't trade your whole future for one reckless night. To the young sisters chasing money at any cost, don't help destroy the same community we've lost. The setup for a robbery ain't worth a human soul. One decision can create damage nobody controls. To the elders, we need your guidance. To the teachers, we need your knowledge. To the fathers, we need your presence. To the mothers, we need your wisdom. The village has to come back. The unity has to return, because the next generation is watching everything we do. No more funerals, no more burying babies, no more mothers crying, no more communities breaking. Lift your brother, lift your sister, lift your people, lift each other. No more hate, no more division. It's time for healing, it's time for vision. Imagine the future where the children feel safe, where every young king understands his place, where every young queen knows her worth and power, where unity grows stronger every hour. Imagine neighborhoods building businesses again, families creating wealth instead of visiting pens. Imagine fathers at home teaching sons how to lead, and mothers being honored for the lives that they see. Imagine elders respected every place they go, passing down wisdom only experience can know. Imagine black people standing together once more, not perfect, but united at the core. That's the dream, not destruction, not division, but healing, building, growing, living. Because our story ain't over, and our greatest chapter can still be written. Wake up, black people. The future calling. Wake up, black people. Wake up, black people. The ancestors watching. Pop. Protect our women, protect our children, protect our elders. Let's rebuild our village. Wake up, wake up, black people. Stand up, black people. Wake up. Rise up, black people. Wake up, before it's too late. Wake up, black people. Before it's too late. Yeah. This is not a song. This is a warning. This is for every black mother who buried a child. Yeah, every black child who never got the chance to become great. Every elder who remembers when the community stood together. And above all, this is dedicated to the black woman. The first teacher, the first nurturer, the first protector, the foundation of the family. Without a sacrifice, without a strength, without a love, many of us wouldn't be here today. Wake up, black people. Wake up, black people. Look, the ground and sea. The war ain't overseas. It's right in our streets. Young kings killing kings before they 23. Then another mother crying on the evening news feed. Another little baby growing up without a dad. Another young sister carrying trauma from the past. Another grandmother praying while she holding back tears, watching violence multiply year after year. We scream for justice when the world does us wrong, but how we gonna rise if we destroy our own? Every funeral, another dream laid to rest. Every casket, another wound in the...
All right. All right, everybody. All love and respect. Appreciate each and every one of you. You are, you have been, and you will be Under the Groove. Catch you guys on tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of this day. Love.